handed him the gun out the backseat of the car.
16-year-old Charleston White took the stand and testified against his friend, Antoine Doolittle, who sat just a few feet from him and listened intently.
He pulled it off, and the hammer back on the gun.
And then what happened?
He fired it.
Doolittle is accused of 34-year-old Michael Levy of Irving. Levy attempted to stop Doolittle Mall in September of 1991.
We already got the money set aside for appeals bond. Why? All jury, the judge and the DA are buddies, along with the dad, best friends. That's been our trump card. We've been holding, already knew that. God has spoken. It's not gonna have no compassion about a kid that's been straight A from the time he's ever read a book in school, has no history of violence, has saved children's lives by risking his own life by jumping in to save somebody from drowning. This kid has no violence. Austin, on the other hand, is a violent with some allegations hanging on his. That's why, man, they coerced it. But one thing about kids can't lie to professionals under pressure. When you was told, when you gave a statement in the beginning, you can't come back and amend it later and say, well, I meant. No, what you said that night is law. Back up right here.
Well, that person there, ladies and gentlemen, was Charleston White, the ultimate grifter. And we know that Charleston White likes to play both sides, but what this Carmelo Anthony case has done is just shown what a lot of us have been saying for a long time, the division within the black community. We already know about the W people, right? And how they view us and the stereotypes and all the types of things that they put on us. But we've seen the bootlicking is at an all-time high, right? On this social media, right? Where black people know that this country is racist. They know that we experience a lot of different things in this country, but they're willing to grift for the money. So they're willing to put down their own people, celebrate those stereotypes. They do all those type of things, right? So the thing we're talking about Charleston White. Now, Charleston White was supposed to be supporting the Carmelo Anthony family. At first, he was coming after the Carmelo Anthony family, and he was supporting Metcalf. Then all of a sudden, he's alleging that Carmelo Anthony's daddy gave him $3,000. And with that $3,000, he switched over and now was in full support of the Anthony family.
I went with the Metcalf family at first.
But you went back to Carmelo.
No, Carmelo daddy paid me $3,000 to meet with me. Carmelo family paid me to be on their side. I didn't just jump on their side. I was paid.
I know, but listen.
So Charleston, being a grifter that he is, he went online, crying and act, to Anton Daniels, acting like he was in support. But then all of a sudden he said, I said, when he talking to Anton, when he get off the phone, they gonna have a conversation. Then he said he talked to Aiden Ross, right? Because remember, he got Aiden Ross to send $10,000 to the Metcalf family. But then all of a sudden he said Aiden Ross changed his mind. And he came out with these watermelon felon shirts, right? These watermelon felon shirts. Then he went and said, my son is free. So it's easy to say F you and your son. Jigga, you came to me and I helped you. I'll make sure your son catch blank in prison. I think I know you well. A jigger who laid down on his son. I feel sorry. I feel sorry. So this is insane, man. This is insane. But this is the same dude. This is that same guy, right? So now he was acting like he was crying. He was carrying on like he was supporting the family. Talking about he was going to donate $75,000. But this is the challenge to the black community, right? The black community, the overwhelming majority of folks that's not out here bootlicking. Y'all okay with this? Y'all want to continue to allow this to happen? Right? This guy got to be shut down, man. This ain't okay. It's not okay, right? So they had a falling out, I guess, and he went and he started doing this.
I was starting to feel like I was being used for my influence and my connections and resources. When I tell you we raised over $1 million one day, privately, quietly. They wanted to start another GoFundMe. I said, no, I'm not doing the GoFundMe. They wanted to know, after we pay for the pill, will the money go to them? No. The extra money don't go back to you. It goes back to the people who gave it. It don't go to nothing else. The money is for the pill. So, going forward, I am no longer walking with nor associated or helping Carmelo Anthony. His daddy in the way. I don't like weak. I hate weak men. I'd rather stand with a strong daddy like that meth cap man than his black weak father trying to play victim. Now, your son's still living. Hug him, send him some books to read. I got the money, let's start to work on the pill. Anything else don't make sense. What's wrong with you?
So this guy's a joke. Now, Daniel Penny collected all kinds of money. Nobody cared what he did with the money, right? What's the the guy, Dylan Roof, his family collected money, right? You had the one that carried the gun across state lines, right? I forgot his name. He collected almost $2 million, right? George Zimmerman, all these people collected money. Nobody asked what they did with the money and what they cared. But all of a sudden, the Anthony family, who's he even admitted, family was under attack. They had to move a bunch of times, right? He had to leave his job, but he still had to support his family and pay for a lawyer, right? So I wouldn't care if they raised $3-4 million, right? Why all of a sudden when it comes to us, now everybody pocket watching? Man, this is insane, man. This is insane. Like, this is really crazy. But this is the stuff that we do to each other, right? And the whole world is watching, right? So now Brandon Tatum is jumping in and saying that he got a call from Charleston White, right? And saying that Charleston White told him a whole bunch of vicious things about the family all of a sudden, right? So Brandon Tatum, he went on to his show, he said this.
Charleston, he called me on the phone. So I'm going to give him a break here. I still got a report on it, but he called me on the phone. He told me some damning things about the Carmelo Anthony's family. Now, I'm not going to say what he told me on the phone. I'm going to let him say his own stuff, and he said it in part in one of these videos. But this is an example of how people are starting to turn on the Carmelo Anthony's family. Now, let's put this in perspective. I might have Charleston come on my show and talk about this and disclose whatever he wanted to disclose. But when he talked to me on the phone, he told me a lot of other stuff that drew concern for him. And none of this stuff should have happened. Carmelo Anthony's family should have never pulled a race card. And I'm not in favor of him killing nobody because I think it's wrong. I do understand young people are stupid and they do stupid stuff in the heat of the battle and they're not thinking properly and they're not thinking about the consequences. A 17-year-old Brandon Tatum is not a 39-year-old Brandon Tatum. And so I'm not arrogant enough to act like I was so perfect and I didn't have violent tendencies in my mind. It just, I never had the opportunity. Now, I wasn't going to bring no knife and stab nobody. I'd throw the hands on people. But they should have just kept it like this, and that boy would have never did 30-plus years in prison, even though I think he deserved to go to prison for a very long time for killing somebody. But what they should have done is they should have took a plea deal, like I said at the very beginning. They knew that boy. Anybody with common sense will tell you that he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong. According to the law, he's going to go to prison. There ain't no getting out of jail free card from what he did, what he said he did, and what the witnesses were going to say he did. He should have just taken a plea, did 8 years in prison or 10 years in prison, then he'd be on with the rest of his life. Also, they shouldn't have went with the race card. You could have just made it about two young boys getting into an altercation that was incredibly unfortunate and framed it. From what I hear, that kid is not really gangster like that. He one of these kids that get online and want to act tough and put the guns in the videos and do all that stuff because they think it's cool to be gangster. I used to think that same way. I admire the gangbangers and drug dealers in part. I thought they were cool. I thought they had the women. I thought they were the dudes with the most clout. You know, when you grow up in the community, when you come home from prison, you cooler than the guy that come home from college. Ain't nobody know about the dude that came home from college. You a sellout. You trying to be like the white man. The dude that come home from prison, you got street cred. You a gangster in these streets. And when you got that ignorant mind, listen to all that stupid music, you start believing that to be true. And they should have came out and not did it about race and did it about a kid that was not mentally there. and thought that that was the right thing to do at the time, and he's guilty, and he should apologize and all that. They should have went with that. They should have joined with the Metcalf dad at that memorial press conference. They should have had his dad. They should have hugged and did all that other stuff, because then, if you are skeptical that the jury may be tainted, you will paint a different picture for Carmelo Anthony. That Carmelo Anthony is come from a good family, a family of remorse. They know he was wrong. They want to unite, black and white. Let's unite together. Both of our kids lost a lot in this incident. They should have did it, but they wanted to be about race so they can raise money and play the victim, because that victim stuff don't work on people no more. It's not 2020. There's no George Floyd in no more. That we done already caught onto that grift.
First of all, when they tell you that it's not about race, that's a bull-faced lies. You can look here, you can see these Mexican or Hispanic men and case analysis, and all of these men had egregious cases. And all of them was, one did like 6 months, 6 days, one got 10 years. But Carmelo Anthony got 35 years, right? And he's being judged, right, through the same stereotypical lens that they always do. Whenever it's us, we're the criminals. You have Brandon Tatum saying that it's not about race. How is it not about race? Everything when it comes to black and white is about race. Brandon Tatum knows this, but these people want to grift. They know it is the media coverage, everything. It was about race from the start, right? If it wasn't about race, when that black judge gave him bail, right, gave him bail the same way they gave Casey Allison bail. Look at all the vicious, foul things that a lot of people in W America said. How come these people, these black conservatives, are willing to overlook that, right? You can clearly see the injustice, right? Even Judge Joe Brown says some boule, weirdo stuff. As a judge, he can see the discrepancies in the way the sentences are levied down. He's a goddamn judge. But this is why I learned, man, just to keep my distance away from a lot of people, man, because a lot of people talk this black development stuff and developing our people, but whenever stuff go down, Dr. Amos Wilson warned us about this kind of stuff, man. We was already warned, right? But we opened up the door for the Nick Fuentes and them to come say this, and then got the audacity to say this.
If this is supposed to be a human being thing, where's all the condemnation from the other black people? Did black people condemn this vicious act of human evil against another human? No. They raised $800,000 to defend the murderer from accountability. Not only did the black community rally in his defense, saying free him and raising money for his legal defense, they also protested outside the courthouse, demanding that he be let go even today, saying he was provoked, he was acting in self-defense. So is it a human being thing? Is it ever? Was it a human being thing when it was George Floyd, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, O.J. Simpson? Was it a human being thing when it was Emmett Till threatening a white girl? No, it's never a human being thing. It's always a racial thing. And at a certain point, we need to confront this. You can ignore it. You can avoid it. You can try and sidestep that conversation. But at the end of the day, why is it that we can't live in major cities? A huge part of it is because of this criminal population. And it's not all of them. Everybody knows that. It almost doesn't even need to be said. We all know not every single black person's a criminal. And we all know not every single black person is a racist against white people. We all know that. However, we also know that the reason you're not able to go safely on the subway at night or during the day is because of this contingent. I don't know how big it is. I'm not going to put a percentage on it, but there is a contingent among the black population that makes it unsafe for everybody. Blacks and whites included, Hispanics and Asians. That's why you can't ride on the subway.
So the Nick Fuentes and them, they want to be honorary W folks, right? They want to be accepted in. So they'll be more dangerous than the actual W man, because they want to be honorary, right? He goes at the end of his whatever and says that Emmett Till was trying to assault a W woman. But this is the rhetoric and the narrative that they put out. And those guys that was playing that video, they won't say nothing. They'll allow that to be said because they just want a seat at the table. I mean, excuse me. I apologize. They want a seat under the table eating 2-day-old butter biscuits that was left out. That's what they want. They'll do anything for that, man. So they'll allow a Nick Fuentes to even make that egregious statement. But it's not about race, right? But there was one surprising person, Anthony Brian Logan. He's been coming under fire for his stance. And I went into his chat the other day. He would usually have 1,700 people watching him when he live. Now he's down to like 400 and 500 because of his position that he's taken in the Carmelo Anthony case. Man, them W folks done abandoned ship. Geronimo jumped off the ship, right? Because this is what happens when you got one time to go against them.
Carmelo Anthony has been found guilty of murder out there in Cullen County, Texas, after the 2025 track meet incident in which he stabbed Austin Metcalf. Now, straight away, I'm going to say it. This was a gross miscarriage of justice. Gross miscarriage of justice. This was not murder. Whether you believe the stabbing was right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about what the law says. The law says that you must intentionally or knowingly cause someone's death. This refers to when you get up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go take this man's life. When you pull out a gun, you're trying to rob him, something like that. That's a manslaughter is when you do something reckless that causes someone to lose their life, like playing with a gun, it goes off and then somebody gets shot. Neither of those things happen here. So it wasn't even manslaughter. It's not even like, oh, well, give him manslaughter. Nah, this was self-defense. This is not guilty. Self-defense says you must reasonably believe that you are at risk of great bodily harm or death. Now, if you're 5'8", 130 pounds, here comes Austin Metcalf, 6 foot tall, 215 pounds, and it's his brother and maybe 2 more people. You feel like you're in danger, you're at risk. That's self-defense. Just like with Trayvon Martin, Zimmerman said, I was getting beat up too much by Trayvon Martin, so I had to pull my, and he beat it. There's been countless cases like this, and it wouldn't matter the color. If it was 2 black kids attacking Lloyd, and then he takes one of their life, oh well, because you can't go putting your hands on people, you can't go assaulting people, and then claim to be the victim. I don't know where to do that at. I don't know what part of the country you guys are in, what part of the world you guys are in.
So this was even too much for ABL to even sell out. ABL said, nah, bro. Nah, I can't do that to the youngin', man. So shout out to ABL for having the backbone, man, a spine to stand on business and just at least tell the truth, man. I mean, this is just, for some of these people, man, today, they see that as a grift and anything to make money because we're so traumatized and we have so much self-hate. People just go out of their way to just do what they do. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. What's y'all opinion on this, man? Give me y'all opinion on the Charleston White situation and then Brandon Tatum. Let me know what y'all think. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.